Hey everyone, and welcome back to Oddly Specific, the channel where we dive into the strangest corners of reality. Today, we're talking about something that's both incredibly common and incredibly bizarre: childbirth. You think you know the basics, but trust me, the human body gets super weird when it's making another human. So, buckle up, because we're about to explore the most mind-blowing facts about bringing a baby into the world. Good! First up, let's talk about a superhero hormone called relaxin. As the name suggests, its job is to relax things. Okay? Specifically, it loosens the ligaments in the pelvis to make room for the baby to pass through. But here's the quirky part. Relaxin doesn't just target the pelvis. It circulates throughout the entire body. Which is why pregnant people might feel a bit wobbly or notice their shoe size temporarily increases. Duh. Feet literally spread out. So, if you've ever heard someone say their whole body felt like jelly during pregnancy, they weren't far off. It's all thanks to this super chiller hormone. Now, let's talk about the uterus. We all know it stretches, but the scale of this expansion is truly epic. Before pregnancy, the uterus is about the size of a pear. By the end of the third trimester, it can be the size of a large watermelon. That's an increase of over 500 times its original size. It pushes other organs out of the way, squishing the bladder and rearranging the intestines. Imagine your internal organs playing a game of Tetris for 9 months straight. It's an incredible feat of biological engineering, and it's why that baby bump becomes so prominent. Then, after birth, it starts the long process of shrinking back down, which is a whole other weird journey. To support this amazing growth, the body goes into overdrive producing blood. A pregnant person's blood volume increases by a whopping 40 to 50%. That's a lot of extra fluid pumping through your veins. This extra blood is crucial for supplying oxygen and nutrients to the placenta and the growing baby. It's also why pregnant people sometimes get that famous glow. The increased blood flow to the skin can make it look rosier and more radiant. That pregnancy glow isn't a myth. It's a side effect of having nearly double the amount of blood in your system. Pretty cool, right? Alright, this next one sounds like something from a sci-fi movie. Did you know that babies can cry in the womb? Researchers using ultrasound technology have actually recorded it happening. Now, don't worry, they aren't sad or in pain, and it's not a full-on noisy wail because their lungs are filled with amniotic fluid, not air. It's more like a silent practice session. They scrunch up their faces, their chins quiver, and they make the same breathing patterns as a crying newborn. Hey! They're basically rehearsing for their grand, noisy entrance into the world. It's their first ever vocal exercise, all before they've even taken their first breath. Speaking of babies, let's get into their anatomy. Here's a fun piece of trivia. Newborns are born with more bones than adults. A baby has around 300 bones at birth, while an adult has just 206. What happens to all those extra bones? They don't just disappear. Many of them are made of soft cartilage that gradually fuses together as the child grows. The most famous example is the skull. A baby's skull is made up of several separate plates, which allows it to be more flexible and slightly change shape to navigate the birth canal. Toes, soft spots, or fontanelles are just the gaps between these bony plates. Over time, they harden and fuse to form the solid skull we have as adults. Now, let's get a little gross, but in a fascinating way. We're talking about amniotic fluid. This is the liquid that surrounds the baby in the womb, cushioning and protecting it. But what is it made of? In the beginning, it's mostly water from the parent's body. But as the pregnancy progresses, the baby starts contributing. A major component of amniotic fluid is baby pee? Yes, you heard that right. The baby swallows the fluid. It gets processed by their developing kidneys and then they urinate it back out into the sac. It's the ultimate recycling system. The fluid is constantly being replenished, ensuring the baby has a sterile and stable environment to float around in. So, that 9-month swim is in a warm, self-replenishing pool of, well, you know? Ready for another strange one? Some babies are born with teeth. It's rare, occurring in about 1 in every 2,000 births, but it happens. These are called natal teeth. They're not usually fully formed teeth. Often they're small, have weak roots, and are a bit wobbly. Sometimes they re-removed shortly after birth to prevent any risk of the baby choking on them if they come loose, or to avoid issues with breastfeeding. Can you imagine the surprise of seeing your brand-new, gummy-mouthed baby suddenly flash a little pearly white? It's a definite curveball in the delivery room and adds a whole new layer to the term teething. Let's move on to something a little sweeter. Taste. You might think a baby's palate is a blank slate, but they actually develop taste preferences in the womb. The flavors from the food the pregnant parent eats can pass into the amniotic fluid. Baby swallows this fluid and gets its first taste of things like garlic, ginger, or sweet flavors. Studies have shown that babies who were exposed to certain flavors in the womb are more likely to enjoy those flavors later on in life. So, if you want your kid to love broccoli, maybe eat a lot of it during pregnancy? It's essentially a 9-month-long introductory cooking class for the baby, shaping their future food choices before they've even had their first meal. Finally, let's talk about that cheesy, waxy white stuff that covers a newborn's skin. It's called vernix caseosa, which literally means cheesy varnish. And while it might look a little strange, it's incredibly important. This coating acts as a natural moisturizer and waterproof barrier, protecting the baby's delicate skin from the amniotic fluid. Think of it like a full-body application of the world's best, most natural lotion. It also has antibacterial properties, providing a first line of defense against infections right after birth. And it even helps regulate the baby's body temperature. So, while the instinct might be to wipe it all off, leaving some of it on to be absorbed is actually really beneficial. It's nature's perfect welcome to the world spa treatment. And there you have it, a deep dive into the truly strange and wonderful world of childbirth. From a pair-sized organ stretching to the size of a watermelon, to silent crying sessions in the womb, and babies being born with more bones than adults, the process is full of bizarre and amazing details. The human body is a marvel of weird and wonderful engineering. It just goes to show you that even the most natural process in the world is filled with surprises that are oddly specific. Thanks for hanging out with me today and exploring these mind-bending facts. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Oddly Specific for more deep dives into the weirdness of our world. See you next time!